Well, we can speak a little more personally than usual if we like, and I'm so looking forward to visiting you.
Okay, wonderful.
In mid-January. It's just
Yes.
not too far off.
Right, very lovely.
And, your picture is very clear today. You look. I need some light too, Brahma.
Yeah, I'm sitting in a different room in the house because there are people outside who are doing some landscaping. And, so there's a lot of trees and bushes and brushes and people walking around. So I thought a background that is not moving unless...
I see Suzanne's artwork behind you.
Yes, very
Beautiful.
lovely. Yes.
I have one kind of similar one that
oh, yeah?
I get to. She hangs her stuff in here sometimes because we're right next door.
Yes. Oh, nice. Okay.
Let's see. It's I don't know if it's visible.
Let's see. Is it the one straight in the background there? That
yeah.
Yes, I see it on the side. Yes, yes.
It's over there. Well, it's kind of similar to yours.
Yeah. Yes.
It looks a little bit, even though it's abstract, it looks a little bit like a pond with rushes. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
This is a very heavy computer. I can't.
Right. It's okay.
And Suzanne, we talked. We sat at the table and talked with her at lunch when you were out here.
Yes.
And she continues to be on and off involved with this guy with a huge PTSD, post Vietnam.
Oh yes.
He just had horrendous experiences in Vietnam. And it makes him unstable. And however, she is so in love, I guess, that she kind of gives up her spiritual life to give him everything, kind of.
Well, so life takes us in different directions. There's always a learning.
Yes.
So we are just where we need to be.
I like that.
Even when things are really hot, the external heat refers to the internal cool.
Now, there's a moment here where I can have an opportunity to ask you a question, which is, do you, a technical question, do you see me? Am I big on your screen, like you're big on my screen?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes, you see, I can click on your image, which I did. Now you're clearly on my screen, or I can click on my image, and now I'm looking at myself on the screen.
I suppose I could do the same thing, but I'd prefer to see you.
Yeah, see, do you have that same option?
Yeah.
You do have that same option?
I have the same option, yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And then I usually make you real big and move you up so that your eyes are right up by my camera.
Oh, so you can control where the image, you can move the image?
I can make it bigger.
Oh, how do you do that?
Then when I make it bigger, then I can move it up and down.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Do you have a Mac?
Yes.
Well, if you hit Control.
Okay, Control. Let me see. Yeah, Control.
And scroll on your mouse.
Let me see.
Does it make your picture size change? It may not be the same model.
No, not the same model, probably.
Control and I just scroll like this with my finger
Yeah,
on.
okay. I don't have that option. But,
Oh, well, I make you.
but I do see you full in the fullness of the screen. You are appearing.
Hmm.
So
I put you up. I put your eyes right up by because the camera is at the very top.
yes.
And unless I put your eyes up at the top, I know looks like I'm looking down, and it's. But where is your camera?
It's also on the top. I could see a little green light.
Yeah, a little green light. Well,
yes.
It looks like you're looking at me.
Because I elevate the laptop. I put it on a stand so that the camera is at a certain height.
Oh, kind of like eye level.
Yes, sort of. Yes.
I'm a little bit. I was up all night. Seeing patients and phone calls and really working hard and drinking a lot of tea. And so I'm a little bit wired and whatever. But fortunately, when I get very tired, I don't get grumpy. I get more jovial, perhaps.
I think I get slightly grumpy when I'm hungry. Sort of.
Oh, how is Tara?
She's out in Temecula. She's visiting with friends and Francis, and so she'll be back next Saturday. Hello, Lee. Yes.
Lee, I hope Lee will speak up because he is very articulate, and I always enjoy whatever he has to say.
Hello?
Hey,
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
How you doing?
Good to see you.
Nice to see you.
Ananda is putting you on the spot.
Oh, wait a minute.
I always enjoy whatever.
I have the movie. I have the live feed on too.
Oh, okay.
There we go.
Okay, it's better. Yeah.
Yeah, I missed our meeting yesterday.
No. Actually, the meeting was canceled yesterday.
Yeah. That's why I missed it.
Yes.
Tara's in California.
You were? Or Tara is? Yes,
California.
Tara. Yes, Tara. She left Friday.
Is she doing a set song there, or just vacation, or?
She's doing both. She's meeting with Francis and Laura, and she's also going to a gathering with friends, and she'll be back on Saturday.
Are you still thinking about moving out there?
These thoughts are out in the space. I think that Tara for a while was having a lot of intense thoughts about that. It's sort of mellowed out a little bit, but we both enjoy California and the weather out there, and so we'll see. The thoughts of going out there are still around, but I'm just very busy right now here.
Yeah, you got to take care of your business, but I have not like concrete dreams of moving out west, but I kind of like that area as well, and it would be nice maybe to find myself there someday.
Yeah,
I like Arizona too. I like the western energy and the mountains and stuff like that too.
Yeah, we had been to, I think, Phoenix, and that was way intense on the heat. Too much. And then we went to Sedona, and that was we were very, very briefly in Sedona, and it seemed to be more pleasant place.
Little elevation.
a place called Prescott, Arizona,
Oh,
which
okay.
was it's like a higher elevation town,
Mhm.
and it's more of like a tourist town, and it's not as hot because it's higher elevation,
Mhm. Mhm.
and
Okay.
it actually gets snow and everything there. So that was a really nice area. But I enjoyed visiting Sedona as well. It's like an hour away.
Mhm. Mhm.
So we go to Sedona and visit there, and
Yeah.
Sedona definitely has a distinct energy to it.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah.
This area.
Yeah. There is another town we visited about an hour and a half from Sedona further. I believe.
Jerome.
Which one is it?
Jerome.
No, this,
No?
that name doesn't sound familiar. Like a university town.
Oh yeah, Flagstaff.
Flagstaff, exactly.
Yeah.
We went to Flagstaff as well. We visited Flagstaff. Yeah, it reminded me very much of upstate Troy, New York, when I went to university. It was sort of a college town feeling in it, you know.
That's not very. It doesn't seem like Arizona and Flagstaff because that's higher elevation too.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Trees,
Yes.
and there's they actually have a ski resort there too.
Yes. Right.
But yeah, I enjoy the western area.
Yeah.
Maybe just because I've lived on the East Coast my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
But California is nice too. I enjoy that area.
Yeah. I don't want to be like in too much of a remote area. I want to be close to more
Civilization.
city culture. Yes. So
You like bagel shops and
bagel shop.
bagel.
Is there a bagel reputation here? Are you talking about moi or?
You always post yourself, in a nice little eatery somewhere.
Oh yes, when we are traveling. When you travel, you stop by, cafes, restaurants, and yeah, it's normal when you're traveling. Tourism wise, you do that, yes.
Eating's a big part of traveling.
Right, yes, eating, and in Germany, the pastries are so good. They're food because vegetarians, so they don't have that many options. So we stopped by. We post a lot of pictures of pastry in this cafe.
Are you a vegetarian, Magdi?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, Tara as well. So yeah.
Yeah, I've thought about going vegetarian. I love animals. Haven't quite got to that point yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't want to make like a blank statements about vegetarianism, but somehow I think at some point, in sensing your connectivity with all beings, you sort of get a feeling for the animal realm. How. I mean, it's one thing like in the old days, or like hunting. To survive. There are so many options to feed ourselves as human beings. So many options that don't necessarily require, what we do with the animals.
Yeah. Plus how they treat the animals too.
Yeah. So big business. It's awful. Really
More
awful.
humane, maybe it'd be a different story, but
yeah,
a lot of the animals definitely are mistreated. So I understand it completely, and I'm actually starting to get to the point where I might even actually feel the energy a little bit.
Yeah.
Of what I'm eating. So maybe that's
part
of it right now.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, there is something about eating meat that has an addictive quality. It's sort of, you feel like you need it, but that can shift.
Yes. Yeah, I'm not really that much. I don't really need to eat meat right now. I still do it because I find myself, at restaurants or eating at people's places, but it's not like I have a real need right now to eat.
Right.
So we'll see how that shifts over time. I guess.
I mean, the options, for vegetarians is getting more and more options, but still, it's not out here where we live. Lee, there is in Merrifield, there is that restaurant called True Food. I don't know if you heard of it. It was set up by Dr. Weil, W-E-I-L.
Oh yeah.
Andrew Weil.
Andrew Weil, yes, and they have a really nice. I mean, they're not vegetarian, which is surprising to me. But anyways, they have many options for vegetarian entrees.
Yeah.
And they're quite tasteful, and so everybody now who says let's go out to dinner, I say okay, let's go to True Food.
Yeah.
That's
your place now, right?
Yes. Last text from my son was, okay, let's go to dinner anywhere but True Food.
Oh yeah. I'm probably sick of it by now.
Yeah, he's tried everything so many times,
Well, Magdi, do you eat eggs?
Yes.
Oh, well, that makes a big difference.
Yeah, I'm not vegan.
If you're eating eggs almost every day, it's
yeah. I don't eat eggs that often, because
Yeah.
Tara eats very, very little eggs, very little.
And yogurt.
No, the Lebanese culture is very big on yogurt, but it's been many years I haven't eaten yogurt. It's somehow, I don't know, it dropped off, and Tara is quite sensitive about dairy and the source of dairy, and also the whole health, something about dairy that she stays away from. So we don't do much yogurt. I would say not at all, just about. But
yeah, I still find myself eating a lot of eggs and dairy. I actually have been trying to. There's something called Happy Eggs you can get at the grocery store, which are free range. I'm sorry, not free range. They're actually free hens. They're not free range. Doesn't always mean free. That means sometimes to me they're 4 feet cages instead of a 1 foot cage, right?
Oh, I didn't know that.
But Happy Eggs are actually a true free. Go out and eat insects and eat natural.
Wow, nice. Yeah.
And the eggs are definitely more tasty, and I didn't even know much about energy a year ago, but I feel like there's a different energy to those eggs as well.
Yes.
And so it's funny that you mentioned eggs, because I went to the grocery store today and they stopped carrying them, so I don't know what I'm going to do now.
We'll find a local person with a chicken yard.
I have found 2 local farmers markets or farmers.
Yes.
Actually, the eggs that I got from the farmers were not as good as these quote unquote Happy Eggs. They weren't as fresh, they weren't as orange, they weren't as bright. So even though they were farmers, they were probably feeding them, something different. So, and it costs twice as much too. So you can almost buy the Happy Eggs and start a business as a farmer's market and sell them as a farmer.
There you go, Lee.
There's my new business.
We have some land here,
Just
As
go
long as
to
you're
buy them.
value added, make some little quiches.
Yes. Okay, I see we have a business partner here,
You gotta find a cook now.
So Lee comes to a Saturday satsang.
Yep.
Sounds like.
I've been coming for about 2 years now, on and off, of course. But yeah, it's very, it's really nice to have them, close by.
Oh yeah.
We always have a good group of people, 10, 15 people, and it's really interesting. And I think there's a little bit more of a connection to the awareness when we're together in a big group like that than there is maybe over the video. The video is good as well. I think every opportunity I have to be aware in that awareness, any way possible is helpful. But in person, there seems to be a little bit more of a powerful energy to it.
Yeah, getting together as a sangha, it's something about that.
Yeah. But also the whole purpose of satsang, I believe, is to be that awareness that we are. And that's starts to shine through more and more, I think, when you do the more you do the satsang, and the more you notice the awareness.
Yeah.
I mean, you told me this, Magdi, and I'm starting to get through finally. Stop following the Maya. Stop following the me. Don't believe the me. Don't let it take you away. Go back to awareness. Go back to truth.
Yes.
Worship awareness. Don't worship me.
Yeah.
And it's getting through, and it still takes me away sometimes, but I try to catch it and come back to awareness.
Yeah. That's good.
And as much as possible, and it's starting to gain some momentum.
Nice.
Starting to gain some momentum.
Yeah, because awareness is what you are, so it's closer than close.
Yeah, it's always been there too.
Yeah.
I didn't even you said that so many times, but the mind doesn't totally understand what you mean. It's always been there until you kind of see it in a way, and then you're like, wait a minute, yeah, you've always been there.
Yeah.
I just haven't been noticing you.
Right. It's like the screen is always there, no matter what images or words or pictures arise on it. The screen is always the same.
Yes. But you hear that a million times, even though you study the stuff and you meditate and all that, and you still don't really you get it intellectually, but you don't get it the same way as when you kind of taste it for the first time.
Yes, absolutely.
And that's the interesting part about it. And when you taste it the first time, then I think that's when the momentum of it, like you said, you start to love it more.
Yes.
And Maya.
Yeah, when you taste it, then you get this perfume of love. Is something that you get the reward. The reward meaning it's the joy of consciousness. There is consciousness is happiness, and when you ceases to be an intellectual thing and you sort of taste it, you go, it's like it fills you with joy. I mean, it doesn't have to be like an elated feeling.
No. It's very subtle.
Yeah, and
it's subtle in the beginning. I'm sure it has levels of bliss and all that, but I'm not interested in anything other than just being the awareness and see what happens from there.
Beautiful. Yeah.
It's really interesting.
Yeah, it's an interest in truth, interest in reality. What is it that's real?
Yes.
And it dawns. At some point it starts to dawn on us that yes, it is consciousness that is real, and it's always there. And the mind travels in me, what I'm missing, what I need, what I'm lacking, what's going to happen to me tomorrow. It's like, God, please give me a break.
It can take us away, and I get lost in thoughts, and it's just less and less. And when I catch myself, come back to awareness.
Yeah. As soon as you catch yourself, meaning you notice that there is this me thought in traveling and habitual, what's going to happen to me in time. As soon as you notice that, then there is energy of noticing, which is the energy of consciousness that's there. When you notice, immediately you're in a different. You're no longer you are back in the awareness. Oh,
exactly.
What's going on? Wow,
There's a little thing that I'll say that for me is I guess beneficial, because for a long time I have noticed that I was lost in the thoughts, and then I would just say, okay, there I am, and I notice it. But the actual, now that I notice it, the actual coming back to noticing awareness, it's like one extra little step.
Yes, I got you.
A little more powerful, or a little more awareness feeling when I not only notice myself lost, but then notice the awareness of
right. That. Yes, it's like for a while you're noticing like the unhappiness.
Yes.
And at some moment you realize the source of happiness, and that goes beyond just noticing the unhappiness.
You got it.
Because now you're noticing and experiencing the source of happiness.
Perfect exact description of it, because I've noticed it and didn't really do a whole lot. Maybe it helped me be a little more aware on a general level, but until I started noticing the awareness itself. And then I also, the interesting part was, man, and you've said this for a while, and I never got it until fairly recently, that actually what's arising out of awareness, what is arising is made of awareness.
Yes.
And it's really interesting because it's not what, quote unquote, I thought it was. It's just like a bubble almost, or something. It's interesting.
Yes.
It's like just beginning. I feel it's just the beginning here. So
beautiful, very beautiful.
Yeah, I really like it.
Yeah. It's like your night dreams, all that arises, all the images that arises, all the impressions that arises, all the events that arises. They arise out of you, and they're made out of you.
Yep.
That's all your experiences, your perceptions in your day in your waking state, like this state right now. All the thoughts and perceptions, they're at zero distance from consciousness. They're made out of consciousness, they're made out of awareness. So that in itself, the whole dualistic realm, me and something out there, all of that starts to sort of dissolve in the understanding that, goodness, I awareness, never leave myself, never experience anything outside of myself. Everything that I'm experiencing, everything is intimately myself.
Yeah.
And there is a peace in that, because the opposite of peace is separation. Me and the other. Oh my God, do they love me? Don't they love me? Am I doing good? Am I saying the right thing? You see, that's the antithesis of peace. This duality, something out there, me in here. So that understanding that all is the self, all is awareness, all is consciousness, has a peace quality to it. As this understanding deepens, then the peace and the restfulness and the well-being and the freedom is experienced at a deep level.
Yeah. I'm excited because it feels like it's just starting to see that, and I know that can grow. Absolutely.
Yes. Then whatever is happening in the world, body, mind, the thoughts, the experiences, whatever is, they serve two purposes. One is just the celebration of the freedom of consciousness celebrating itself as perceptions, as sensations, as thoughts. And it also serves another purpose, in that until you're fully undisturbed, there are events that may appear that may disturb you. And as they disturb you, once you understand that you are consciousness, that you are the self, this disturbance only serves to release what remaining hidden tendencies of me still remain. Just to perceive that somebody cutting you off in traffic and you feel this contraction, just bringing your attention to this contraction, then you allow it to dissolve in the space. Because the space of consciousness, the space of awareness, once you get a taste of it, then you notice its borderlessness. It embraces everything without getting affected by anything.
And that's the interesting part. It's kind of like it's you. It's not you, but it's you at the same time. It's not you like you thought it was, but it's still you in a different way.
Yes.
That's the interesting part.
Yes.
Because it's not two, but it's still not you.
Yes.
That's the very interesting part.
Yes. It's like your dreams. It's like your dreams. You dream of a butterfly. You're not a butterfly, but yet the butterfly is not separate of you. It's made out of you. Your dreams are made out of you. You see, it's not you, but yet at the same time it is you.
Yeah, so, that's really hard for the mind to get. That's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. The mind can get that. Yeah, you need to get an understanding of consciousness, and not an intellectual understanding, an experiential understanding of consciousness, to realize that everything is consciousness, but consciousness is not a thing.
Yep.
So you could say that consciousness is not a thing, or you could say consciousness is everything and nothing. Meaning everything is consciousness, but yet consciousness is nothing.
Yep, and you've said that forever too, about how there's no, it's not anywhere. It has no measurable qualities.
Yes. Non-phenomenal qualities.
Yeah.
No, you can't perceive or understand or grasp consciousness from the mind. Mm-hmm. It's only from the revelation of consciousness that I am that you get to consciousness. You get to consciousness through consciousness that you already are.
Yeah, it's so interesting, because the mind feels like it needs it so bad, but it can never find it. and then awareness itself doesn't need it, but it's the only thing to find it, and it's just a funny game going on there.
Well, the way the mind, works with consciousness is it says, "Oh, I need it," but it conceptualizes consciousness as an object, as something, as an experience, and so it's seeking an experience, and experiences are limited, and they're in time and space. But consciousness is limitless and is not in time and space. So the trickery of the mind, sort of using this language, is to conceptualize an objective experience or a phenomenal experience of consciousness, and now it's seeking it. But all what the mind is doing is maintaining is itself by chasing, like a dog is chasing a bone, by chasing the scent. It's just maintaining itself. When the dog has no more scent to chase, the dog is out of business. So give me a scent, give me a scent to chase. You see?
Yeah, its only job is to chase its tail, right?
Yeah, it chases its tail. So, but it's already its tail. The tail of the dog is it's not separate from the dog. So the dog conceptualizes, an objectified tail, something that it needs to chase. Oh, it says, consciousness is myself. Well, let me find it. But it conceptualizes it. You see? It conceptualizes it, so it objectifies it.
Yep. Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm just starting to get this too. So I look forward to the deepening of it more and more.
Oh yeah. Well, that's very beautiful. That's great.
But yeah, I love that. Yeah, the arising mind is awareness, actually. So there's really nothing wrong with it or separate from you, or not a problem even. We think the mind thinks it is. The thoughts of it being a problem.
You see, it's like the parabola, the metaphor of the king who forgets that he's king. He's still the king, although he forgets he's a king. He thinks he's a carpenter or whatever he thinks he is. He's walking in the village. In fact, he's still a king, even though he's forgotten that he's the king. He's still the king. So the consciousness forgets itself and becomes a mind, a personal mind, and so on. But in fact, it's still consciousness. It's consciousness having forgotten itself, saying, "Oh, I'm Magdi, I'm Lee, I'm Ananda, I'm so and so." But all along, even though the king is saying, "Oh, I'm the carpenter and my name is Joe," in fact, he's the king.
Yep. And it's helpful for me when I find myself lost a little bit, just to remember, oh yeah, that's just arising in awareness. Go back to awareness.
Absolutely, and you are this awareness. You see, right now in this very moment. This very experience, this very perception, these very words, you're hearing them, it's awareness that is perceiving them.
Yeah, now when my mind gets engaged and stuff, I'm to the point where I don't necessarily feel the awareness as much. I guess that grows more and more, and you kind of feel it more and more as this happens.
Yes.
Even when you're in the midst of activity and mind and stuff like that.
Yes. So you ask yourself, what is it this very moment that's perceiving these thoughts? You come directly to I, awareness. This question is always available to you. What? Okay, there is all this stuff happening, and these feelings and these emotions and these thoughts. What is it that's perceiving this perception right now? That question is always available to you. And so directly to I, awareness, is perceiving this perception. Of course, via the body-mind instrument. If you're looking at a tree, then you're seeing the tree, meaning consciousness. Consciousness is perceiving the tree via the instrument of the eyes, or via the body-mind instrument. But the true perceiver is not the instrument. Like right now, you're perceiving this image via the computer, but it's not the computer that is perceiving. It is you that is perceiving. So the eyes, the physical eyes, are not the ones that perceive. It is I, consciousness, that perceives. You see the metaphor of what is it that's truly perceiving. What truly perceives is beyond the instrument, is beyond the mind.
Yeah. I like how I think Francis Lucille said that the body is like a machine, and we're looking through that. And that's why, and this for me, it really hit, because when I'm my body, when I'm my thoughts, I am a machine and I have no life, basically. Mm-hmm. But when I'm awareness, that's where the life is.
Yes. So you could say, as a metaphor, that the body is a very, very advanced, very sophisticated robot of sort. You could use that metaphor, and that, you know, I, the perceiver, is perceiving via this instrument. So like you're sitting there is a very sophisticated screen, and you have a robot out there, and you're, you know, you're somehow manipulating the robot. It's just a metaphor, of course.
Yes.
Via, you know, via this very sophisticated, but metaphors, they're very helpful, and like, you know, they're like an anecdote. They sort of, you know, make that very precise point.
Yes.
Then they sort of, then they become obsolete. They just,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But your metaphor of the dream at night, the night dream, and how I am that dream was very helpful for all this.
Yeah.
Because you know, when you dream at night, everything in that dream is you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That was a great metaphor for me, as far as, of course, it was mostly intellectual, but it was a very good point there.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know, consciousness is a master designer. You know, it designed not just the waking state, but it also designed the sleep dream state, so that we can realize via these hints, these very obvious hints. And look at it! Look at all these dreams. You dreamt you were drowning. Here you are having cup of coffee in the morning. Where is your drowning?
So that's basically how you experience. Well, I don't say all the time, but on the most part, that's how you experience the waking state as well.
Yeah, the waking state. The waking state is images and sensations. It's a dream. It's a waking dream, but it's a sweet dream. You see, that's what's beautiful about it. And the night dreams too are like images. You know, at some point, your night dreams become you know, void of me. They become like just, you know, images and. But yes, the waking state, you know, void of the unhappiness, is very sweet.
Yes. Yeah. Where do you live, Michael?
About an hour north of San Francisco.
Oh, so you're on the west. Okay.
Yeah, it's a nice little town. It has Mediterranean climate.
Nice.
Which means, you know, it's raining today. I was just out in the rain, and it's there's about 7 or 8 months that it doesn't rain at all.
Perfect.
And it's just beautiful, and the plants have adapted to that somehow, so that they're beautiful. I don't know how they go so long without that rain, but
is it in California, or is it? I guess that's probably, if it's dead north, that's still California, right?
Yeah, north of San Francisco. California goes way up another 300 miles.
Okay. Have you ever been to Mount Shasta?
What?
Mount Shasta?
Mount Shasta's about a 4 hour, no. I'm not a fast driver, but it can be gotten to in about 3.5 hours, maybe.
It's further north of where you live.
In fact, I've been trying to get Magdi and Tara to, when they visit out here, I'll take them up to Mount Shasta, and we have a mutual friend, Ted, who's just wonderful.
Wow.
He doesn't join the satsang Google because he has dial-up. He's a mountain hermit, and
so he watches the videos and stuff.
Yeah, he's watched, because I told him, and he said, "Oh, yeah, it's wonderful."
Yeah.
But he's another character that I've known him for 35 years or something. I love him. And I know Magdi likes him too. Just from, I don't know. He told me about Magdi, so it's.
Oh, he told you about Magdi. Okay.
Yeah, he said. Magdi used to have a profile picture that was kind of silly, where his nose was very prominent. Do you remember that one?
I don't remember it, but yes, I may have a prominent nose sometimes.
It was like the camera was up real close or something.
Oh, okay.
And I thought, who is this guy?
Fisheye lens.
And Ted, somehow Ted told me, he just said he's the best thing on the internet. He's the best. And so I tuned in from there. That was the beginning of my connection.
Magdi definitely has his unique way of pointing, which is different than others. Which his metaphors for me are very helpful.
Me too. Me too.
The metaphors that he points to for the awareness that everyone else is pointing to are unique to him, and they're very helpful. I don't know, maybe just because I think similar or something. I don't know what it is, but
I know we've had this discussion sometimes that sometimes you meet somebody with whom you have the understanding, you know, and
yeah, I mean, all the true teachers are pointing to the same thing, but they don't deliver the message or point the same way. So that's why some resonate better than others, I guess.
well, here's something that I've been really pondering, because I've had I've had many teachers, including somebody down the lineage from here, John Klein, I was good friends with. But I've also had some teachers who had big egos. It's like, you know, if you're familiar with the Enneagram, it's like the 8 on the Enneagram is the very self-confident type of person and everything. And a lot of them end up being in a guru role. And then when you find that they're not truly humble, they're actually not a humble being. And you think, you know, I just see an ego there, and I see somebody who got some grasp of non-duality and then generated a teacher role.
I find it interesting that some people can actually have realization. I don't know what the word is. Maybe kind of stay at a certain level where they have realization and they can go to it whenever they want, but I don't really know how it works. But I know there's some people, I feel, at least from my perspective, that have a realization and have access to it, but they kind of stay low, you know, in ego, like you said. I don't know how it works, but I like looking at different types.
I'd love to hear what Maggie says about that, about people who wobble, or just that tendency that can be there to really wobble into a certain amount of clarity, and then
you know, there is a ripening. There is a ripening. You look at the fruit on the tree. It ripens, and at some point it starts to have some perfume of the fruit. You know, whether it's an orange or apple or peach or whatever pear. There is a perfume of the fruit, and there is, you know, there is a certain period where the perfume is sort of, you know, let's say increasing, but there comes a point where the fruit falls off the tree and then it's edible. Well, you know, in our culture, we take the fruit of the tree 6 months before, and we
get it out now.
I'm not talking about our idiocy. I'm talking about
we want to hurry everything.
right. Let's make $5 instead of $1, right? But you know, as a metaphor, in terms of like the flowering or the maturation, you know, in our contemplation of the self, there are many insights along the way, and which are like insights into truth. Of course, you know, there are some initial insights that make you realize that, oh, all the structure, the belief structures that from where I perceive, there is something that is brighter than that is pointing to these belief structures that they're just illusion. It says, so it's like your first glimpse is a glimpse that sort of cracks the egg. It cracks it, and you can't repair it anymore. This is once the eggshell is cracked, that's it. It's not repaired. But there are many insights that along the way, and there is a culmination of these insights that's similar to the parable where the fruit falls off the branch, which is the revelation of your totality and your eternity, and that everything is this eternity and this totality of consciousness. That revelation, you cannot wobble back from it. There comes a point of wobbling as you're getting to break the sound barrier. But once you break the sound barrier, there is no more wobbling, you see. So it's important in your contemplation not to settle for anything, but just continue your contemplation until you're no longer stirred, until you come to the complete certainty. You know it. You know that complete certainty in your heart. And your complete certainty, it's not a mental. It's not some anything that you believe. It's a complete dissolution, complete merging into the light. And everybody around you who has a certain sensitivity will sense that, because it's not personal, and they will sense that because at the core of their being, that's what they are. At the core of our being, we are the light of being. So we can sense that when we are in relationship with a teacher or a friend who speaks from that place, who is that place, who radiates that place effortlessly, impersonally, completely impersonally. So it's an important message that many people, truth lovers, have not yet heard. And so therefore they have some experiences of the self, and not having understood or heard that the stabilization as the self is not a compromise, any sort of compromise. They believe that that is a place of realization, and they speak from that place. And when you meet such people, you will find statements such as, well, there is no me, yes, but at the same time you can have some unhappiness and so on, just accept it, go into acceptance. And you will find all sorts of interim teachings. And these interim teachings that you may come upon them in your contemplation, they may have some helpful points for you. But you will only find that once you have consumed that understanding, then you're ready to move on somewhere else, to further along. At some point, you come to a friend or a teacher where there is nowhere beyond to go at. You just sort of settle into that, and you merge into that, and you will find this teacher to be just the self that you are, to be a friend, to be just the light that you are, that shines initially around you or in your presence, but eventually it shines as your presence. So this is why there are no mistakes, even when you are with guides who say a lot of helpful things, and you notice some things that don't jive. Even that is where you need to be at that moment, and you detect out of your sensitivity the aspects of the teaching that do not resonate, and this opens you up for further to go beyond that.
You know, for me, it's a lot like who am I attracted to as a friend, as a truly like intimate friend, and it has to be somebody who you don't have to watch your P's and Q's with. You don't have to be. You can be completely natural, and that opens it up too.
Yeah. Well, there is a resonance for you that is where you are in your contemplation. You know, some people may find themselves needing a father image, needing an authoritarian, maybe an authority. And I would say that at that point, this is what they need to experience at that point in their journey. But ultimately, they're going to go beyond that, because the self has no authority. It's love. It's pure radiance. It's friendship, love, sweetness, understanding, listening, comprehension, friendship. So even when you find yourself in a relationship where you're attracted to some authority, or towards some image, or towards a whole a large group of there are some big show, you know, maybe that's what attracts you. You feel like the belonging, you know, like you belong, and you're nurtured and you're loved. Even that, you know, you need that at that point, but at some point you're gonna go beyond it, because love and need don't go along. Love is complete freedom of need. But you cannot force it. You cannot go from needing love to the realization. It has to sort of burn itself a little bit, you know, and it varies. You know, some people will spend 20 years in still working through their desire to belong and to be nurtured by a group. At some point, whether it's in this lifetime or whenever, it'll go beyond. So the closer you come to the self, the closer you come to peace and happiness and causeless happiness and freedom, simplicity, understanding, happiness. And let's well, it's very sweet to spend time with you guys.
I enjoyed it. I look forward to, if you go to California and do a group thing, maybe I'll have to go follow you guys out there and join.
Sounds good. Let's do it.
It's been a long time since I've been to California.
I tell you, you'd be singing. What is it? Singing to the choir? Is that the expression?
Yeah.
It's Tara. Tara will be going, yay! When?
Yeah, bring the whole socks on.
Bring us everybody. Thank you, Maggie.
Okay, all right.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait, are you really done? Because I had a
no. Okay.
I have a question.
Yes. Okay.
But I mean, that was wonderful. But now it has some mind to it, but it's something I really want to say. I watched a Rupert video where he talked about, he says the biggest problem with non-duality these days is an idea that he calls panpsychism, which is, to me, is very similar to pantheism. That's saying that the idea that there is consciousness in everything, you know, that's an expanded view from what we used to think as Christians or children or whatever, that, there's human beings with consciousness, and then there's stuff that's not conscious. So it seems like it's an upgrade from that. But then the next step is things don't have consciousness. You know what I mean?
Yes.
A consciousness has things in terms of, I don't know, I think of it as imagining, like dreaming. So then as I listened to him, I realized, I still have a remnant of that idea that, rocks have a little consciousness and rabbits have more, people have more.
Yes.
But it seems to me that one of the key elements of this sort of direct path kind of teaching is that there's only consciousness, really pure consciousness.
Yes.
And not,
yes.
So
like when you are in your night dream and you dream of a butterfly, yes?
Yes.
So, and then we ask ourselves the question, does the butterfly have consciousness? Or you dream of a rock? Yes? And then you ask yourself, okay, does this rock have consciousness? It's a good question, because it's a question that you just brought up.
Right.
Well, there is no rock. There's no butterfly.
There's consciousness, but there's not things.
But yet there is a butterfly and there is a rock as your experience. So you cannot deny that you dreamt of a pink flying elephant. There was a pink flying elephant, but in fact there isn't. There was and there isn't. There was as your experience, but there isn't an actual elephant. So to say, well, does that elephant have consciousness? Does that rock have consciousness? What rock? Where is the rock? So what is your experience of rock? And we come to the waking state. So we come to the waking state, and now there is a rock. And so we're experiencing a rock. And we say, well, does this rock have consciousness? Maybe this rock has consciousness. Well, before we conclude or we contemplate whether this rock has consciousness or not, what is the rock? So when we go, what is the rock? We go to our experience, because there is no rock outside of our experience, is there?
No.
Well, we may believe that there is a rock outside of our experience, and that's okay. That's a thought. It is a rock outside of our experience. But we only know a rock via our experience, and what we know of the rock is our experience of the rock.
Yeah.
Yes, whether it's perception, or whether we're touching the rock, whether we're caressing the rock, whether we're holding the rock, or whatever we're sitting on the rock. What we know of the rock is our experience. We know our experience. And in the same way, in the dream state, we know our experience of the pink flying elephant. We don't actually know a pink flying elephant. We know our experience of the pink flying elephant, not to diminish it, but just to be clear about it. So in the waking state, we also know our experience of the rock. And our experience of the rock, where is it? What is it? Is it not intimately ourselves? Is it not intimately the awareness of our experience? Our experience is only possible via our awareness of our experience. Outside of our awareness of the experience, what the heck is the experience? There is no experience outside of awareness of experience. So our experience of the rock, or the rock, is made out of our experience of the rock, and our experience of the rock is made of our awareness of the experience. So the rock is indeed awareness, but not as an external object. There is no object called a rock that contains awareness. The rock is made out of awareness, meaning it's via awareness that the rock is known. It's everything that we refer to as object, as phenomena, as the phenomenal realm, is intimately myself, is intimately I as consciousness, which is quite different from the notion that there is a rock out there and that there is some consciousness or a lot of consciousness in that rock.
Mm-hmm. It sounds funny even what that would mean, consciousness in a, but it was the common paradigm. So one thing that came to me as I was contemplating that Rupert saying this, talking about this, was that there's no way you can be free of fear except to come back and recognize it all as one really, as the consciousness, because otherwise there's these different things,
Yes.
and
Yes.
it's dangerous or something.
Right.
You're
Yes, because like if you look at fear, fear refers to me and something else. It could be a big bad wolf. It could be a rock that's going to fall on me. It could be a rock that's made out of gold that somebody's going to steal from me, or somebody is going to get to it before me. So the whole mechanism of fear requires some sort of duality: me and
Right.
something, me and the world, me and somebody else, etc. So
Right.
when you contemplate that everything that you experience is your experience, you're only experiencing your experience. That I, as awareness, is experiencing my experience of a rock, of a tree, of a bird, of a lake.
Mm-hmm.
And there is no other. There's no external anything or anyone that is an internal me that is going to be threatened by an external force. There isn't a vulnerable internal self and a mighty external realm that may impinge upon me and hurt me or diminish me or rob me or kill me, or none of that. I am the self. Everything is I, and everything that exists as my wakeful dream, and I remain unmoved, untouched by the zillion dreams that I dream.
And then that's you said, like you said earlier in this conversation, earlier on this hangout, it's the something like unhurtable or unshakable or something.
Unperturbable. Yes.
Yes. And then it's unperturbable no matter what, no matter. Yeah. Sometimes I feel like I could have a cerebral aneurysm, and it wouldn't matter. It doesn't even matter. It's not that you want it. It's like nothing matters with the body, mind,
Well, sometimes there is a thought that may arise. Okay, there may be some kind of sensation in the brain or in the head, and there is a thought that arises. Oh, my goodness, something's happening to me. But
could be having a stroke.
But right, I may be having a stroke. In that thought, there is a me as a person. Consciousness has sort of now identified itself with the body.
Yes.
I consciousness. Now I'm this person, I'm this body, and this body is going to have an aneurysm. The thought that's arising is going to have an aneurysm, and there is the I as the body, I consciousness, and now I'm a body. I'm going to have an aneurysm, and so there is a contraction. As soon before even the thought of the aneurysm arose, when I became this body, already there is a contraction.
Right.
Which is the sense of me.
Right.
Sometimes sense of me. And then there is the thought, oh my God, something may be happening. I may be having an aneurysm. Now you're having an emotion of fear.
Yeah.
So what we described is whenever you forget your wholeness, you forget that you are awareness, that you are presence, and now you're the body, there are all sorts of possibilities, things that may happen. They're basically thoughts, that may happen to me, the body. Like somebody may break into my house and, I don't know, shoot me. I is no longer consciousness. I is now Megdi, this person, this body, mind, and I'm having an emotion of fear. So I'm hiding. I'm locking all my doors. I'm barricading myself. I'm calling. Every 5 minutes I call somebody to make sure that people are around me. They know that I'm here. They know my address. They can come and save me if I have any problem. You see, and it's a very unhappy.
Yeah.
Unhappy. So you need to notice when that thought is arising. First, there is a sensation, but it's also the sensation triggers the me. There are some sensations that trigger the me, and they're helpful. These sensations are helpful because they show you some remaining me tendencies. A remaining me tendency. So, okay.
They're helpful on another level too, because they show you that you need to maybe take a few deep breaths and relax. Because you're having a stroke, right? But anyway, go ahead.
Right, that's true. Maybe something is preceding that, maybe you're working
But
worked out.
but I guess what I'm thinking is even all of that happening doesn't touch the, you know what I mean? Even all of that
Yes,
doesn't touch you.
yes, yes. Nothing that happens, earthquakes, fires, volcanoes, meteorite that hits the earth and pulverizes the earth, nothing
Right.
affects you as consciousness. But you can't simply accept it as an idea.
Mhm.
Remain clear, and it's only in this moment, the clarity that I, this very moment, refers to presence.
Mhm.
And presence is not something that is affected by anything. It is not a phenomenal event.
Right.
Yes, and presence is not something that any body can hold on to. You can't hold on to presence. You are this presence. Presence is itself already. Yes, and presence does not. You cannot cut it. You cannot burn it. You cannot drown it. Yes, you cannot cut it. You cannot divide it in 4 pieces. Yes. So I am this presence. I am this aware, awake presence. Yes. That doesn't depend on whether there is daylight, whether there is rain, whether there is no rain, whether there is sunshine, whether Alaska or Portugal, or it doesn't depend on any of that. It does not depend on whether the body is alive or not alive. It doesn't. Awareness is it's beyond the phenomenal realm. Yes? And that I am, not I as a body am. That the aminness belongs to awareness. The aminness belongs to consciousness, to beingness. Yes? So just to notice that indeed there is beingness, there is aminness, and it's non-phenomenal. It's non-phenomenal. And the impression or the belief that it depends on any phenomenal event is just an old echo that you need to sort of release it over and over, release it. There's the big bad wolf cannot come and bite consciousness. Yeah, cannot. Yeah. Nothing that happens in the world, body, mind happens to consciousness. See, so that's not adopting any belief. That is a direct contemplation of your experience in this moment. But we don't need to leave that experience. You don't need to leave yourself. First, you can't leave yourself. You never actually leave yourself. But this impression that I am this person is as if you're leaving yourself, and now you're becoming, Ananda, who may have an aneurysm. ... The story down the line. You see, so. So you release that, okay? You say, okay, interesting thoughts, interesting. I guess I still want to feel some of this, fear, and now I guess I still have there's still some juice in that, still some juice in that. But there is something beyond that's beyond the limitations of juice or rush, which is the beatitude of presence.
Yes. Beautiful. I wanted to share something that I read, and I think it was. I heard that Rupert read an article by a friend of his, which got him to be talking about this panpsychism, which made me contemplate all this. And that guy, I read that guy's article, and he says something in there that was so beautiful. He said, when you really understand consciousness is everything, consciousness, awareness is the only thing, then you don't even need the words consciousness or awareness. I will suffice. Just the word I even.
Yes.
And
yes. Well, when you master a language, let's say you're learning French or Spanish, you master the language, you're the master. You've mastered the language, meaning you know the language now. Whether you speak it or you don't speak it, whether you say bonjour or whether you say comment vas-tu, or whether you say nothing, it doesn't change the fact that you have mastered this language. So whether you say consciousness, I, presence, beingness, God, all is one, the self is consciousness knowing itself, there are many expressions that are expressing the inexpressible, including just I am, or all the many expressions of the self are expressing the wordless, are expressing the non-mind. So it is often said that the revelation of the self is a silent revelation.
And yeah, I think I see where that guy was going. Is that as you're dropping off the multi-syllable words like consciousness, and you're to the simplest thing. I is so simple, and it never leaves. You know, it's always it's your basis. Rupert talks about it as being, you know, basic. There's always I, and then you're saying it's reduce. You know, letting go of even that word. That word. It's silence. So I like that. I like how you're pointing to it. Not complicated. Something like that.
It's simpler than that. Okay.
Thanks.
Beautiful.
Thanks again, Magdi. Have a great day.
You too. Both of you.
Nice to see you.
Michael. Take care.
Okay. See you soon.
Bye-bye.